What's up, everybody? It's Lameka here with The Real About Entrepreneurship. And in this video, I am talking about what it takes to get your product to the next level or to sell your product to a retailer. In my previous video, I talked about the workshop at Macy's, and they are have an opening for their new class for the workshop at Macy's and submitting your application. So thank you for your questions. And so one of the questions was, how do you get your product ready for the next level? Well, I think probably about three things. One is you want to make sure that you have been selling your product and you've gotten some feedback from your customers and what they're saying about your product, so that you can have a good understanding of what it is that your customer base wants. And you've got some feedback about your quality and some things that you need to make adjustments to. The other thing is making sure you're ready to go to the next level and sell in a major retailer, because that means your back end systems will need to be in place. If you are manufacturing, these products yourself, are you able to keep up with the demand of what a retailer is going to be asking for? For me, I am a tall woman who didn't have the clothing that I wanted, so I decided to create a clothing that I loved, and it gave me the confidence that I wanted to be in when I walked into a room with my clothing. So I created Hi Goddess. No skills on how to sew. I didn't know anything. I don't even know how to thread a needle. To this day, I still don't know how to thread a needle. I didn't have any experience with manufacturing. I definitely wasn't a designer, like don't even pick up a pair of scissors type person. And so I didn't have anything, but the one thing that I did have and that I do have is the ability to talk to people. And so what I did was I just, I talked to people, I told them what I was wanting to do, and I was able to meet someone that basically was able to put my whole system together after one phone call. So if you're going to be selling to, if you're wanting to take it to the next level, or you're wanting to sell to major retailers, you've got to make sure that your back end, specifically your manufacturing, is capable of being able to take on the orders that this retailer is going to ask, because you're going to be having deadlines and they expect the delivery deadlines and you're committing to that delivery. So you want to make sure that you can produce that. The other thing, which is always a thing, is money. So you're producing this order, but you're not receiving the funds for that order until after they have received delivery. And if everything is not the way they said it, you're not getting the money for that order. So make sure you have the financial ability to fund that order in advance of you getting paid for it being delivered to that store. So make sure your manufacturing is in order. Make sure your you know what your customer wants, and you understand the flaws of your product, and you've made those adjustments. And make sure that you have the funding available for you in order for you to be able to do that. Now, getting into the retailer, that takes a lot of persistence, because I didn't, when my aunt actually told me about the workshop at Macy's, like I remember exactly where I was. I was in line at Target. My aunt called me and she was like, hey, I'm looking at this Essence magazine and they have this thing in there about the workshop at Macy's. Actually, I wasn't in Target. I was in the grocery store. Anyway, that doesn't matter. But she, when she told me about it, I was like, oh, that's too much work. Like, I don't want to do it. And the deadline was, was really there. So I rushed and I got it together because I pretty much had everything ready, and I submitted. The first time I submitted, I did not get picked, and I'm actually glad because I wasn't ready. And then the next year I was like, oh, I don't feel like doing it. And then the third year, I said, okay, I am going to apply. And so I applied for it and I got into the program. It was very nerve-wracking. I had started to expand Hi Goddess because when I first started, I only had jeans. And once I felt like I had perfected the jeans, I expanded the line to maxi dresses and blouses and that kind of thing. And so when I knew that I wanted to, submit for the workshop at Macy's, I decided to hire a designer to help me have a more cohesive line. Again, I said before, I am not a designer. I don't know how to sew. I'm not a pattern maker. So I went and I hired a designer to help me put everything together. So I did that, and, I went through the designs, and obviously I had created that a year in advance. So I had been talking about it and presenting it well before I ever, went to the workshop at Macy's. So by the time I got there, I was very confident in presenting and pitching my my clothing line. Now, here's the thing: is tall women's clothing is not sold in retailers. It's just not typical. Typically, tall women have had to buy their clothing online. So, I was trying to see where a tall women's clothing line would fit into a retailer. I knew I had a large hurdle, to overcome, but I still thought, this is definitely something that would be there. And the one thing is, when I went to the workshop at Macy's, obviously I wanted to, get my clothing there, but my real reason was to get a better understanding, because there were other retailers that I thought was a better fit. That would, be, welcoming to the type of product that I have, because it is a tall women's clothing, and you go to try on things. Sometimes you have questions about, oh, how's the fit? How's that kind of thing? So you want to be prepared in making sure that you can tell that customer how your item fits when you're not going to be there, versus in a smaller retailer where they may have taken a little bit more time, with the customer and helping them, help and knowing about the product. So I went to the workshop at Macy's wanting to gain the understanding of what it was to sell in a major retailer. And that is absolutely what I got. And I was provided with great feedback. It also let me know that I don't know that I want to go this route. And maybe I didn't want to forge, being sold in a large retailer. Tall women were accustomed to shopping online, and obviously catalogs, because JCPenney sold through catalogs for quite some time. And so I just decided that I am just going to continue to sell direct to customer. That is a better way for me. But at that point, my product was great for going into a retailer. I had all the components that I needed to be able to sell my clothing to a major retailer. So long story short is, you want to make sure that you are very confident in your product, in the product that you have, and that you have talked to your customer. You know what the customer wants. The other thing is, you want to make sure that you understand what that retailer is looking for. You want to make sure that your manufacturing, your systems are in point, so that you can actually support the order that you may get from a large retailer. And you need to make sure that you can fund it, because you will have to put that money out up front. So those are my suggestions of, basics of what you need in order for you to take your product to the next level, or be able to present it to a retailer. And the workshop at Macy's is an amazing program to get you those tools and to have the mentorship that you need in order for you to take your product to the next level. So I hope I was able to answer your question. If you have any more questions, feel free to let me know below. I am more than happy to share the information that I have. And until next time, peace.